Yeah, he's a real wild child, sure enough, with us tonight on Luxembourg 208, the one and only Iggy Pop.
Good evening.
What can I say, Iggy? I'll tell you what, it's a milestone in my lifetime to have you here with me tonight, you know? Really good to have you here. How are you enjoying London?
I'm really liking it this time a lot. I got a nice little flat.
Just across the street?
Yeah, with my own door on the street, you know, private entrance.
Yeah.
That's real nice.
You've been over here rehearsing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So how's that going? Obviously getting ready for the gigs.
That's going great. Really great.
All right. Now, Iggy, it's been 4 years since your last LP. Now, during this 4 years, there seems to have been a change, in your general outlook on your life. You got married. You've stopped getting wrecked every night. You've taken up painting and acting. Generally, in 1986, we have a more tranquil Iggy Pop. A long way from the guy that, I don't know, sung No Fun back in 1969. What do you say?
Well, a long way on the outside, anyway.
It's still the same on the inside.
Yeah, I had to. You got to have a foundation. You know, if you're gonna do good work, there has to be some stable foundation to sort of exist and to be able to grow and stretch in this business. You know, or any business for that matter. And so, one day I woke up and I said, I want a home life, and I'm going to have a home life, and that's that, you know. So, like, I found me a girl, and I said, hey, girl, come here.
Listen to these records.
Can you cook? Yeah, listen to these records, learn all the words. Can you cook? Can you clean? And can you do the other stuff, you know? And, you know, so that was that. So we got together. So it was like, okay. And then like, you get the house. And you go, hey, landlady, I want to live here. You know, and can I live here? Great. And I'll sign a piece of paper. And then you learn, like, to stand in line at the bank and balance the checkbook. And take out the garbage. Vacuum the floor. And after I learned all that, and like get up in the morning, go to bed at night, get up in the morning, go to bed at night, get up in the morning, you know, and stay very straight, and it felt great. And then I was ready to stretch a little in my work.
Yeah,
because I just didn't. I felt things were getting too leatherette. You know?
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. You know. I didn't want to just kind of be a pop monster or something. So.
Yeah, you wanted to get a bit more serious about your life and your work.
That's right. You know, it's yeah, I mean, it's probably harder to stay growing when you're. I'm 39. And it's harder to keep growing at this age than it is maybe if you're 21, 22, and you know it's good to keep doing things for the first time. So I'm doing this for the first time.
Now
I'm working real hard. It feels good.
Yeah, you're looking good. At 39, it's unbelievable because, you know, you have a lot of shots taken with your shirt off and stuff. And, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking, how does he keep so fit? What does he do? You know, I mean, what do you do?
I don't know. It's just, there's something, the way I am, everything I do becomes exercise. I'm very...
hyperactive?
Yeah, not so much that. I think... It may have something to do with the music, for one thing. And the kind of music I play generally makes you go up and down, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And that's half of it. And even singing, like after a rehearsal day at where we are right now.
Strains your stomach muscles.
Yeah, my stomach's nice and tight and kind of a little achy. And the only thing I do, I mean, I do sports. I like to play golf. I like to swim. I just learning to surf, you know, and I ski. But that's not, you know, that's not like lift weights and regimen. And I do stretches around the house, and I take a lot of care what I eat.
Yeah.
And try to get my sleep and all that, you know, all that real mundane stuff.
You got a dancer's body, really, haven't you?
I like to dance.
Agile, yeah. Okay, Blah 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 is your third album you've done with David Bowie. The others were 9 years ago, believe it or not, namely The Idiot and Lust for Life. So how did you get together with David once again? Did you call him or did he call you? Did you go out for lunch? Did you say, hey, let's do it again?
He was working on, he was in New York working with Arif Mardan, finishing some tracks for Labyrinth. And he called up and said, or maybe I called him, I don't remember, but basically he invited me over to listen to some demos he'd done. And I said, I'll bring mine along. So I came up and listened to his, and then so I said, well, let me put mine on. Oh, all right. Here you've been working with that Steve Jones, you know. Well, I suppose it's really hard to take this stuff, you know. And so I put it on. It was what I've been doing with Steve on the West Coast, and he really liked it. And he was surprised at the lyricism in Steve's playing as well. And And he sort of just immediately jumped in on the project. He said, "Well, hey, could I get in on this? You know, and we could do it and knock it up in Switzerland, and I could co-produce and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
ideas, and I was pleased to have him in on it because it was like he's the kind of guy I wanted to kind of counterpoint what Steve and I were doing, which was very, very basic guitar, drums, and vocal, and I wanted someone a little bit from another planet to kind of come in and add a funny twist to it, and David fits that.
From another planet, I like that.
Bit, you know, a little bit.
The man who fell to earth. So, how was the relationship between David Bowie and Steve Jones? Because the way I read it a long time ago, Steve Jones might have helped himself to some of David's guitars at a Hammersmith Odeon gig.
Actually, in the end, Steve only worked on the writing with me. Steve and David have never met, and Kevin Armstrong did the guitars on the album instead because Steve had prior commitments with Andy. He's working with Andy Taylor on the West Coast.
Yeah, right.
So that never came up. But Steve is in really marvelous shape, and he's not a thief either.
No. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
In the early 1970s, before he'd found his true self.
Every Englishman I meet says he's lost a guitar to Steve Jones. It's like ridiculous. You know, Steve Jones. Well, you know.
Okay, Iggy, let's take a break in the conversation and hear the title track.
All right.
Well, there it is, Iggy. Title track to the brand new LP, Blah, Blah, Blah. Now, where did that title come from?
I took it off the telly.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm not telling which program.
You know, it's like a common phrase in England when people say, so anyway, I said to him, blah, blah, blah.
America, too, yeah.
Yeah, really?
You know, yeah. Yeah, so the guy said he couldn't come over to Tuesday, and he was supposed to be here on Monday, and he said it's because blah, 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 you know. Yeah. I thought it was just my appropriate rejoinder to a lot of what gets thrown at me just on billboards, advertisements, so-called news. You know, and sometimes you just think, oh, these people are just talking at me, but what is this?
Yeah, what are they trying to sell here? Yeah. Okay, you're also working with Dave Richards from Queen.
Yeah, he is great, that guy. I'm glad you brought it up because he deserves a lot of credit. He works out of Montreux a lot. At Mountain Studios where we recorded, and his concentration level is incredible, and he just did a great job on this. He programmed the drums and
co-producers,
and then we used Erdal Kilkazay, the Turkish fella, who played most of the instruments on the album except for Kevin's guitars and Steve's contribution, and he got us some really nice chips from Roger Taylor of Queen, and it cooked.
Was this a David Bowie partnership? Because he's already had experience with Queen, hasn't he, with Under Pressure?
Yeah.
Was this how you got into using Dave Richards?
I wanted, when I talked to David about doing the album, I was concerned that we get the best sound available, and he said, well, I know a guy. And I had met Dave Richards earlier anyway. I said, oh, of course, he'd be great.
Yeah. And like you said earlier on, you got Kevin Armstrong playing all the guitars.
Yeah.
So
he's great. He's a heck of a worker.
Yeah.
He's leading the live band. I'm going to see him shortly after I leave you, and they're working really hard on this. It's going to sound real good.
Yeah. So why doesn't Steve Jones play more guitar? He's involved with this other project.
Steve's involved in a couple other things. He's working on his own album now as well on the West Coast of America.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah.
So he's there and I'm here.
But you managed to stay together long enough to write half the album together.
Yeah, and we write whenever I'm in Los Angeles. We always write some more. I was just there 3 weeks ago, and we knocked off 2 more tunes. I like working with him a lot.
He's your second Sex Pistol, isn't he? The first one.
I beg your pardon.
The first one was Glenn Matlock on Soldier.
I worked with Glenn on that. Yeah, yeah.
So in a way, he's the second Sex Pistol you've worked with.
I never thought about it that way.
In your career, really, isn't he?
He's a guitar player. He's not a Sex Pistol anymore.
I know, but
he's just a guitar player.
All right, let's hear the single from the album. Here it is, Cry for Love.